This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Shalom la ha alahayim nawathan kal halalium la abanawa alahayanawa Yahweh Bahasham Hamashiach Yahushai Bahasham Racha Hakodash. Peace to the gods, giving all praises to our Father, our power, Yahweh, in the name of the anointed, Yahweh Shai, the name, Holy Spirit. Double honors into the elder apostles, the elder bishops, and the head elders of Great Millstone GMS who do rule well. Salutations and blessings upon all the house of David, the Bayath, Dawada, the 144,000, and the remaining 1/3. This is going to be a quick hit through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Lord willing, is edifying to the elect. It's your brother, Tazapanya Banyamyan of the Sons of Yashala camp out here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Shabbath Shalom. Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Barakatham. To all you sincere Akim wa very few Akwath that not only believe the gospel, but also do it to the best of your ability as well. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to get right into it, man. It's a big one right here, man. This is a big one. I don't know why the spirit got me on this, like I'm some financial guru or something like that, which I don't claim to be, but I just have this feeling that this year is going to be such a drastic transition of how we do things when it comes to food, bills, expenses, and so on and so forth, man. And the scriptures say the Most High did not give us the spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind, man. And Yahweh Shah said, if you love me, keep my commandments, right? And, that power is that spiritual power, really, us being able to understand this truth. And a sound mind is that wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. We're sound on solid ground. We're firm, immovable, fully persuaded in our mind. So as you can see in the topic, man, this is crazy, and this I'm gonna make this quick as possible. All right, but everywhere I go, like if you watch on the mainstream media, it's a bunch of fluff. It's a bunch of it's like what they're trying to do is damage control and lie to the people, really to the investors, the ones that have the tens of thousands, the hundreds of thousands, and the millions of dollars in the stock market, to not jump ship. Because if they jump ship, all hell breaks loose, because everything will go red, right? So they want the people to trust, because if you trust the government, you'll continue to cooperate in the monopoly game, which is rigged. That's why you have a term called insider trading. That's supposedly illegal, but happens every single day and every single second on Wall Street, New York City, Babylon the Great. But anyway, this is what's really going to happen. This is why YouTube is in the so-called misinformation, censorship, agenda narrative is coming so quickly. All right, because they want people to be caught out there like a thief in the night. They don't want people to be awake. Okay, because they're trying to mix that wokeness. Because I remember when woke came out, 2017, and it was really on like the history. And then now woke is part of, they didn't turn the critical race theory, they didn't turn it into some alphabet mafia, they didn't turn it to this into that. You see what I'm saying? But woke really is spiritually understanding what's about to happen to the scriptures. The testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. So I'm going to let this first part play, and then I'm going to get to the point, and then we're going to get to the scriptures, and we're going to close it out. Where is my controller? Salakia. So as you can see on the right, this is the money GPS. You can follow him. You feel me? I forgot where I found him at. All right. But he's saying, look, what to expect on today's episode. One, this came out 8 hours ago. The debt ceiling that we just reached yesterday. Then he's saying, follow the money. A scripture that comes to my mind, right? The love of money is the root of all evil. So those that love the money and that are of the root of all evil, because Job 9:24 says, for the earth has been given into the hand of the wicked, right? So that means those that have the earth in their hands, who is given the earth, right? Where are they putting their money at? And I'm going to skip these two parts because the main part is this, because this is the most biblical, prophetical part that we're looking for, the civil unrest. So those that are, the money is going to the east, BRICS nations, Dubai, Russia, China, bunkers is being made, deals with crypto really on a central bank digital currency level, things of that nature. And this is going to cause all holy hell to come to you and yours, specifically here on the shores of the land of the slave, the home of the unbrave. All right, so let's get into it.
Up until this point here, leading us to number 2, which is follow the money. Where is
let's let him
raising the debt? You know, you look at it time and time again, governments do the exact same thing, and that is spend more money than they have. Well, in today's episode, the first thing we'll talk about is the debt ceiling, why it's really important, and what has happened up until this point here, leading us to number 2, which is follow the money. Where is the money being spent today globally? What nations, what businesses and corporations are really benefiting from this major shift that's occurring? And number 3, the most important of all for everybody who sticks around, we're going to talk about civil unrest and how this all unfolds. I've got a very important video for you today. Let's begin. So let's start right here. America hit its debt limit, raising economic fears. This comes up periodically, and basically what it says is that the Congress has to allow more spending. If they do not, they run into these special circumstances, emergency takes place, the government has to decide, where do we cut back spending from? What do we do in this case here? They all convene and they decide, well, you know, we don't want to spend it here, we don't want to spend it there, and it's this nonsense back and forth. And as long as it doesn't come near Christmas time when they all want to go home really fast, they can stretch it out for such a long period. Here we have my favorite and yours, Janet Yellen sends a letter to congressional leadership on the debt limit saying you must do what you can right now. We don't want to have this issue, and yet they do this over and over again. It's the same repeated pattern. In my opinion, it's nonsense. They're going to spend an unlimited amount of money. We know that the government is going to spend more than they have, and that it will devalue the currency over and over again. You look at the same thing in Europe. You look at it in Canada, New Zealand, Australia, and the US, and everywhere else in between. They're all doing the same thing. It's the same pattern.
So notice he only mentioned Western countries, all a part of NATO and the EU. Basically the beast. Yahweh Shah said, if house be divided against itself, how shall it stand? You see? So if they're all going to just print money, but every country is wants a different outcome, then it's just going to cause nothing but chaos and destruction.
Why? It's because each country cannot fall behind on the spiral downward as we see currency turn to confetti.
Right. So in the book of Daniel, chapter 2, when it talks about the Nebuchadnezzar dream, Daniel interpreting it, you know, the feet being of iron and clay, that is your stronger currency countries compared to the weaker countries financially. all right, and they can't mix with each other, but they're wanting to be all of apart with each other because the leadership of these countries are all Edomites. You see, but they can't mix. All right, so one country's going to take advantage of another, and Esau's prideful, so he's not going to allow that to happen, and it's going to trickle down to the people, and we're going to get to that last part, which is civil unrest.
Look here, I wanted to show you what it comes down to is, according to Goldman Sachs, Congress has until August and possibly as long as October to raise the debt limit.
So Goldman Sachs is right now, because I checked the stocks today, is at its lowest to any other company on the S&P 500. So Federal Reserve said they have. So I'm gonna break it down for those that don't know finances real quick, and I'm learning as I speak as well. So the debt limit is reached, and of course, because the Federal Reserve is not a government entity, it's a private corporation. They can increase as much as they want to. However, they have, just like your credit card. If you don't pay your credit card payment, it's going to default. All right, and then you're not going to have the confidence from your creditor to raise your debt limit and so on and so forth. So they're saying they're going to do extraordinary measures. That the longest that they can do it is until June. But yet Goldman Sachs, I don't know if you can see it too much, is saying that those extraordinary measures will be likely exhausted by March. Some of those extraordinary measures is not paying postal workers, is not investing into Social Security and certain pensions and funds, things of that nature. You see what I'm saying? So basically, from yesterday until um, what the Fed says June, but Goldman Sachs projected March, the Congress has until August or possibly as long as October to raise the debt limit. So whenever the extraordinary measures are finished, all right, that's when they increase their cash balance, which is this green right here. And then immediately later, they're going to run out of cash because they're increasing it, and they'll reach back their debt limit again. You see what I'm saying? That the deficit finances increase till it gets to the point where it's past the debt limit, and that's where um, things is going to get crazy. All right. So cash balance likely exhausted by then, because the extraordinary measures is just basically giving them more cash to try to pay off more debt or to prioritize certain things. It's nothing but, just simply put, just a fucking stupid ass game. All right. They're trying to, you ever seen that picture of the Statue of Liberty and the shit is on life support? That's what it is. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, let's fucking stab them with some fucking steroids to keep the brain alive. You see what I'm saying? When it's inevitable. The doctor said you got about 30 minutes until you die. Say, do your Catholic rituals and prayers to believe on your white Jesus, that you could make it to your white heaven or some shit like that. Like, this shit is done with. Shit is over. You see what I'm saying? So through the spirit, through the projections of Goldman Sachs, a bank, through the Fed, central bank, so on and so forth, this year, whether it be spring, summer, or fall, all right, the CBDC has to come. You see what I'm saying? So we really do not have that long. We shouldn't even be in the mind of preparing 5 years down the line, man. We should really be just meditating on the law, waiting patiently for the Lord to get us the fuck up out of here. And you being content with what you got. Because it's stupid to have, the only long-term goals you should be having is the kingdom, man. You see what I'm saying? You deal with things day by day. Yahweh Shah said, yo, tomorrow has its own evils, man. Because at any point in time, if this is according to their projections or not, shit gonna hit the fan.
That's what they suggest. They basically break it down. Extraordinary measures, that's what they call it, likely exhausted by March. Tax payments make room under limit in April, and then it goes beyond that. So it really depends on how they want to do this,
Right.
how long they want to stretch it out for, and pretend like this is the world.
So look, it's how long they want to stretch it out for. So what should we be doing? We should be praying to the Most High to hurry this thing up. Didn't Yahweh Shah said The day shall be shortened, uh, uh, or unless all flesh wouldn't be saved, but for the elect's sake, they're shortened. So the elect, the hopeful elect, should be praying, keep shortening these days, Father, in the name of your Son, Yahweh Shai. Babu Kusha, Babu Kusha, Babu Kusha. Keep shortening these days, man. Do not let them continue to long this wickedness and this iniquity that they're doing with these unrighteous dealings and riches got by deceit, man. You see what I'm saying? Cause we catching fucking hell, man. I'm tired of this shit. I know y'all gotta be tired, man.
Wrestling Federation, and they go behind the scenes and now are, having a party, and then they just tell you that everything is not so good on the surface. We know the truth. Okay, let's be honest. As a result, like I said, you can see the currency fluctuating, okay, against its peers. In this case, the dollar touches 7-month low as Fed rate rise expectations slide. This is important because we had seen over the last few months, everybody was piling onto the dollar. This was an excellent trade. The dollar was strengthening. All of the currencies were weakening against it. But when we measure this against what's more important than comparing, let's say, the yen to the US dollar or any other currency, it's important to look at real goods, because even though you're seeing inflation rates as the number that they give us, inflation rates coming down, even the top guy at Unilever, I can't remember if it was the president or CEO, he said, this is Unilever, one of the biggest companies in the world, saying that prices are still going to go up. You better expect that. So that's what they're telling you. They are telling you.
So look, they're saying, can one of y'all brothers get Revelation 6:6 for us, man? Because even though he doesn't really go into it, hyperinflation is going to come, which is going to cause that civil unrest, man. Okay, because this debt ceiling, when he's going to show in the follow of the money, okay, segment, okay, that's when things is going to skyrocket, and we only seeing a little bit. See, victuals is so good cheap right now. All right. So you have to be prepared spiritually for what's about to come.
Exactly what's going on. And if we're not paying attention, we're going to be sideswiped.
So look, if you're not paying attention, which means what? You're supposed to be watchmen. You're supposed to be watching out for what's going on. All right. Hey, the water. This is the brother Pillars of Benjamin, Revelation chapter 6, verse 6. And it reads, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. And then when you go into that penny, it's denarian, all right, or denarius, all right, which is the ancient the water GMS Facts Works 144. Follow both of these brothers, Pillars of Benjamin and the Memphis camp out there, GMS Memphis. Be subscribe and be edified. All right. So basically the same thing. Penny, denarius, denarian, which is a day's wage for a Roman soldier in the ancient world. All right. So somebody that's under the government like us, you feel me, with basically slaves to this, because of the birth certificate, social security, things of that nature. Your wheat, barley, like let's say like a loaf of bread is going to be a day's wages. Let's say you make $20 an hour, you work eight, that's what, 24, 20 times 8, what, $180. Imagine, around that area, you take tax out, let's just say $150. You see what I'm saying? For a loaf of bread, couple loaves of bread, you be like, yo, this shit is crazy. How am I gonna live, bro? You feel me? So when it goes on to say, see thou hurt not the oil and the wine, when you look up that word oil, it means olive oil. All right, olive oil was used to anoint the servants of the Most High. You see, so this truth is still gonna be with the elect, man. All right, everything is gonna be still good money with those that have the oil and the wine. Wine being philosophies, ideologies. All right.
That leads me into the next point. You have what occurs when we follow the money. And I want to show you this. Kissinger sheds resistance to Ukraine joining NATO. Look, we got to do this. We just have to have a next World War III going on. I mean, that's really what this would entail.
Right. He wants you. He wants World War III because if Ukraine joins NATO because of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, all right, Russia says, "Oh, I don't give a fuck. They join NATO. We still going to attack them." That means everybody that is under the treaty of NATO, which is basically all your European nations, all your Edomite-led nations. That means they have to help and go to war with Russia. And if they did that, you're basically putting a rabid dog, or should I say bear, in a corner, all right? And they're gonna bite you, which would be what? The intercontinental ballistic missiles, all right? World War III.
And I think it's important to show us that when they're meeting at Davos, what are they signaling that will occur? Just like Bilderberg meetings, Davos, same situation that they're telling you. They're telling you future policies that will be decided within our governments. No, these are not government officials, but they are going to have those policies within our governments. We got to pay attention. So war is absolutely on the table. I would say widespread war, World War III type war. I'm hoping that it's not the situation and that's not the base case scenario, but it looks ever more likely as we see with Taiwan, China. Who knows? Could be anywhere.
You see, this is why the prophets is the number one threat, man. Everybody see it, but they don't want to say it. They effeminate, and an effeminate man is not going to inherit the kingdom of the Most High. Just say it. World War III is going to happen. Oh, well, we hope that it. No, we want it to happen, and it is going to happen, man. And lo, there shall be a prophet among them. What's with all these men being scared? All right, what they scared of being called, doom and gloom prophet or predictors or whatever the fuck, prognosticated. You see what I'm saying? Like the only true man, honestly, the only true man is Yahweh Shah. He's the alpha male. We trying to be like him. So we alpha males in the making. All right. And that's why we have that spirit that we don't care what nobody says, man. We fear the most high Yahweh. Basham Yahweh Shah. We don't fear nobody else. You heard? You feel, oh, that little, I hope, and maybe, and if it World War III, it seems like it though. And because niggas is scared, bro. Yo, gird up your loins like a man. It is what it is. Billions of people is going to die. So what? That's how the Mosai set it up. So if we know we trying to be persuaded by the terror of the Lord, what are we doing? We giving diligence to make our calling and election sure.
But where is this money? Where is all individuals, investment banks, and the multimillionaires and billionaires? Where are they putting their money? Well, let me show you something. Gulf funds with $3 trillion become the world's bankers. Broken down further in the next article, you will see Middle East sovereign funds spent almost $89 billion globally last year, with deal makers using their wealth to diversify their economies and win geopolitical influence. This is something I've been talking about for many, many years. Watch the shift, look at it's happening already. I even talked about it in my book, talking about China, how they're going to see more wealth moving in there. And that was literally over a decade ago when I published that. So here we are today. I thought it was interesting what they pointed out next. When Credit Suisse, Sam Bankman-Fried, and Asia's richest men were hunting for funds in recent months, they all turned to the same place, the Middle East. And they basically talk about how these countries have literally trillions of dollars that they want to spend. And you look at what.
And that actually, has me wonder. If all this money is going to the Middle East, you would think that people would want to protect it. Will people bring their armies to protect their money that is going to the Middle East? Seems very Valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh Shaphat to me.
Saudi Arabia has been doing, getting Ronaldo on board. Potentially, I even heard they want Messi on board, bringing them over. They're attracting new things that weren't there a decade ago. They're building that up. It's not just Dubai. There's others as well, like Saudi, that are trying to basically attain more wealth, go away from the oil income, and go in a different direction. So this is very important to see where the money is going to and from. Let me show you this. Dubai continues to benefit from crisis as the Russian-Ukraine war goes on, and you will look at that. It was approximately a year ago now. Time flies. And you could see that property transactions in Dubai year to date hit a record high by the end of 2022, surpassing previous records reached over the same period of 2009, where there was chaos, really, when you look at it. And what happened with Dubai, places were being built for no reason, and then hey, they sat empty for many years. But now things have changed, especially in the last year. Russian nationals have become the largest buying group of real estate in Dubai
You
since
heard
the
that?
war in Ukraine.
Russian nationals have become the largest property owners and dealers in Dubai since the war on Ukraine. Right? So whatever's going on, Russia's actually, you know, running up a check, thumbing through a check. You feel me? And they moving out there and they living it up while, war going on over there. You see what I'm saying? Things is very funny when it comes around over to this Middle East. All right, the water. I'm gonna get this again, brothers of pillars of Benjamin. Joel chapter 3, verse 2. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, and will plead with them, and there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. You see, because they feel like, oh, well, all the power, the wealth is going to come back to the east, right? And we're going to be rich. And everybody think that they're going to be, in this spot of, Esau, right? Whether it be, the Russian Edomites, whether it be the Ishmaelites, right? But none of them, all of them is just saving up money for the elect, if you want to get down to it, all right? Because Yahweh shot, and you shall it be known, right? That these are the sons of the living power. They're gonna know who the Most High is dealing with.
Sales to new record highs. Incredible to see how much money has
And
moved
we
into this
almost done.
one little place.
We almost done.
Dubai's annual real estate transactions crossed the milestone of half a trillion dirhams. Looking at this being the first time in 2022, they're growing, the money is moving in, and of course, a lot of the world sees this as a hub. You compare where it is geographically, comparing Asia to Europe, kind of linking that, and even Africa in the same sense. Algeria looks forward to joining the BRICS in 2023. According to the president, we are watching the BRICS nations growing in strength, growing in what they want.
And Algeria is deep because in Ezekiel 38, it's connected to, Libya. And I want to say in Ezekiel 38 it says, put shall join in, with Gog and Magog and everything like that. All right. So the scriptures, prophecies is just coming to pass, man.
To pursue. Of course, it will take a long.
Oh, Khan, hey, the water. Job chapter 27, verse 16. All right. Though he heap up silver as the dust and prepare raiment as the clay, he may prepare it, but the just shall put it on, and the innocent shall divide the silver. That's right. That's right. See, we have a lot to look forward to, man. We have a lot to look forward to, bro. You see what I'm saying?
Time, but suddenly the BRICS is more than just a few countries. It looks like this will grow. One of those countries being Saudi Arabia could be joining the BRICS. I think that would be massive. And of course, gotta watch because they intend on having their own reserve currency. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? And then just showing you in connection with that, global property market faces 170.
So we're gonna get to the main point.
That's not the case.
And then we're gonna close it
That's
out.
not the case. So then you have big problems, and I'll talk about that momentarily. The national debt rising has implications for the value of the US dollar and geopolitics because as the debt increases, it can lead to inflation and the potential for default.
So look, right? The national debt rising has implications for the value of the US dollar and geopolitics because of the debt increases. It can lead to the inflation and the potential for the devaluation of the dollar. So not only is this debt ceiling that we just hit going to affect the value of this dollar, is also going to affect world politics, all these wars and rumors of wars.
valuation of the dollar. If investors lose confidence in the ability of the US government to manage its debt, they may reduce their investments in the country, leading to higher interest rates and further economic consequences. China is a significant holder of US debt and therefore has major influence over the value of the US dollar. If China were to continue to reduce its purchases of US debt as it has been doing, it could lead to a decrease in the value of the dollar and potentially negative effects on the US.
Potentially, it is going to have a negative effect, and like he said, which they've been doing, because China is in league with Russia and the BRICS nations, where they're trying to get a digital currency that is backed on gold, that they can outmaneuver the US dollar in their hegemony and don't have to be a part of that world currency and basically shackled to the US economy. They can create their own. And they're already saying like some 80-90% of the world's population is on BRICS. India itself has the highest population in the world. It passed China now. You see what I'm saying? India is like 1.9 billion. China's like 1.3 billion. That's like half of the world right there.
Economy. If money is leaving Europe and to some degree the US and going to places like Dubai and the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, and China and South Africa, it could lead to a decrease in demand for the US dollar, which could also decrease its value. This is a major turning point and will continue to unfold in the coming years. When we have these major disruptions, you can see time and time again that there is civil unrest, depending on food prices rising. Maybe it's because people are having issues with one thing or another. They take to the streets. That's the inevitable fact of the situation. If you look at in the UK, they're doing it. Nearly 500,000 UK workers set to mass strike demanding higher pay. They're going to take to the streets, civil unrest.
And that's the truth. Now I'm gonna read this over here. Y'all can't see it, but somebody has a picket sign saying real term pay cuts of 38% since 2020. 73% of is it shifts in 2020 were understaffed and did not meet patient needs. Talk, I guess, hospitals. All right, 17.7% pay rise for me, all in it together. So that's what they're looking for and all of that. All right, so that's a lot of people. 500,000 people in the UK. UK is not that big population, and they demanded higher pay because they can't keep up with the inflation. And inflation in Europe and in the UK is actually higher than it is over here. So imagine if we get to that point of inflation over there, because the English pound isn't the world reserve currency. 500,000 would be in just one city. That could be just New York City alone. You feel me? We could see a easy 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 million people on the streets, man. We talking numbers that will help bring in martial law, and that's what they want.
People are going to be unhappy. They already are. It's simply a powder keg. You see what's happening in the case of France. It seems like every day, but here's the newest one. More than 1 million people have joined a day of protests and strikes, according to France's Interior Ministry, against plans to push back the age of retirement from 62 to 64. Some 80,000 protesters took to the streets of Paris, and I mean, I've seen some of the videos. It's crazy, but this is what goes on. People are upset. And on my second book, if you had read it, I made something very clear. It says, soon the earth will rumble under the heels of the angry mobs.
And I'm gonna leave it right there because that's a perfect segue to the last precept that I'm about to bring out, and then we're gonna close it. This is Second Esdras chapter 15. We're gonna start at verse 14. All right. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. And the modern day sword is the gun. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, in the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Okay, so what is that? That civil unrest, the riots in the streets. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Why? Because people's actions are going to be, the course of their actions is in their power. So the people that are of a higher power is going to want to stop that by causing martial law. Verse 18, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. See? So if men is going to be afraid, how much more for you women and for the little children that can't help themselves? All right, verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So notice too how he said food prices rising or people just sick and tired and blah, blah, blah. But food is going to be the major part. Major part. Harry Kissinger himself said, uh, if you control the oil, you control the nations. And if you control the food, you control the people. So they want to control the people because they already control the nations with that oil. But that's why the Saudi Arabia and OPEC and things of that nature, they're willing to sell their oil for gold and other things now rather than just the US dollar. All right. And they talking all of this green shit and trying to take away coffee, meat, so on and so forth. All right. So things is about to get crazy. Civil unrest and chaos, man. All right. Civil uncon. I'll get these two. These is perfect. Second Esdras, chapter 9, verse 3, pillars of Benjamin. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of people in the world, which we're seeing right now. Imagine you in France, right? You 62 years old. Your back hurt, your knees hurt. You've been the last 2 years, you've been preparing for a nice little vacation to Turks and Caicos. Let's say you got your little thing that been riding with you, you know what I mean? Probably let's say like an Edomite, right? 30 years in, marriage and all of that. You've been trying to surprise her. You haven't been having time to wine and Donna, get your little tenderoni, feeling good and all that. You like, yeah, I'm about to retire and I'm gonna have this little money and we can wake up and drink mimosas. And then France comes and says, nope, you gotta work 2 more years, so we ain't gonna give you that retirement money. Oh fuck, you, yo, that shit. You could be like 2 more years, yo, son. And see, they probably even did that because they know in 2 more years, the shit not even gonna be as it was. It's gonna be now because you in 2 years they could get everybody into this digital concentration camp, man. You know. Verse 4, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Right. Prophecies. You see what I'm saying? These are the things that he spoke about. Okay. Isaiah chapter 19, verse 2, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Con. All right, shows you that the Apocrypha is lined up perfectly, with the Tanakh. Okay. Second Esdras chapter 5, verse 12. At the same time shall men hope, but nothing obtain. Woo! They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper. Oh, yo, yeah, I gotta highlight that one. Let me read that again. Second Esdras chapter 5, verse 12. At the same time shall men hope, but nothing obtain. You know what that reminds me of in Romans, where it says, for Israel have not seek or to obtain what he seeketh for, but the election have obtained it, man. So these niggas is gonna hope and shit that they not gonna be able to obtain because you, while ye had yet liberty, as the scriptures say, you see what I'm saying? You loathe thy law. You feel me? And he that turneth his ear away from the law, even his prayer shall be abomination. All right. So, and who is the ones that speak in the law? You feel me? Of Hamashayak, really? All right, is the prophets, and you don't want to hear us, and you've been wanting to this and that and the third. You ain't going to obtain shit when that day come. So you're going to be working, especially laboring in that day, trying to feed your family, do this, doing that. But remember, he said, "My servant shall eat." So if you wasn't serving him, you was serving the goddamn devil, the enemy, Esau, Edom. All right, you're not going to prosper when Jacob's trouble hit its peak, man. All right, simple as that. Simple as that. So I'm gonna let it hit. Man, I went double the time, but hey, just Lord willing, y'all was edified, man. You know, it's the Sabbath. You feel me? We're gonna have a buffer day kind of thing, and then I think Saturday night is when the new moon comes in. All right, Saturday night to Sunday night. All right, so probably soon ending. I'm on Rocky Mountain time, so it's a little different than brothers on the Eastern or whatever, wherever y'all brothers at. But y'all Basham Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai Barakatam. You know what I'm saying? To all you Akim wa Akwath out there. All right. Chaos, civil unrest is coming. We know this. Just get ready. A Bible ball, Kwame Yasharala. Shalom, shalom.